CreamCrazy here for the 4th fucking time. Seriously, the amount of times I've had to re-record or record this audio for this has been annoying as hell. But it's here, we can all be happy about that. Hell in a Cell coming up in... about 6 hours time here in the UK. I mean, it's midnight here in the UK, so must point that out. Anyone who is from the UK who is watching this pay-per-view, it starts at midnight. So, 11:30 GMT is when the Skype chat will happen. Just putting that out there. Anyway, as of now, 6 matches planned for the card, all of which I am slightly interested in. Well, ranging from the top of the card, being very interested, to the bottom of the card, me thinking, there's potential here. That's the thing. Normally I wouldn't be this happy about a pay-per-view, but hey, I'm looking forward to this show. I really am. Let's hope it's as good as the card makes it look. Anyway, first up, we have Eve defending the WWE Divas Championship against Layla. Must note, some people have been saying it's a triple threat match, but it is being advertised as a singles contest. So, I don't know where I'm going to go for here, because I was going to think Eve would win against both Caitlyn and Layla in one match, because even though she'd get her ass kicked, and I'm looking forward to seeing that because I'm embracing kayfabe for once, I don't know, I think she'd still win even against Layla one-on-one. I don't think there's a real notion of reason why she should lose the title so quickly after she's won it, and it builds more heel heat on her, even though there's a lot of it already, because honestly, after being linked with Laurinaitis, being called a hostky repeatedly for months on end, and doing a lot of really stupid, despicable things with the nice girl, bad girl gimmick that she's got, you want to see her get her ass kicked, but she will win and that'll piss people off. Just my opinion as well, I think she will obviously win it. I don't think Caitlyn's ready, and Layla, to me, just does not work as a face of the Divas division. Everyone else will probably agree with me on that one. Next, Kofi Kingston defending the WWE Intercontinental Championship against The Miz. Now, this should be a great match, knowing what they've done recently, which should be great. However, there is only one result coming out of this. Kofi is going to win it. There is no way Miz will, because he's obviously in line for something bigger, which I think we can all predict is right. He's definitely going to be given something bigger in the next couple of months. Don't know what it is, but it'll be fun to see. Really would be fun to see. I'm just hoping this match lives up to the hype I'm building, and a lot of other people are building for it too. They think this could be a show stealer, me included. But you never know. I mean, after what they've done the last couple of weeks, people are really excited for this, and so am I, because they have good chemistry in the ring, they know how to make a match good, and it should be fun. It should be fun. Let's hope putting more matches with them over the last couple of weeks hasn't sucked out the enthusiasm to watch this one. Next, Team Hell No versus Team Rhodes Scholars for the WWE Tag Team Championships. God, I wish Rhodes Scholars would remove team from their name and have Sandow's theme as their theme, because it fits the intellectual moment of it. Anyway, I can't wait to see this. Honest to God, I cannot wait to see this match. Mostly because it's got Sandow and Bryan, two of my favourites, with Kane and Cody, two great workers alongside them. That's a recipe for a damn good match in name value alone. Just saying, for me, it is definitely something that makes me go, ooh, great talent in a tag match? I'm on that. The fact is also, they have great chemistry as tag teams, both of them. Seriously, out of all the teams in the tag team division right now, they definitely have the best chemistry out of the lot. Plus, both teams are on an even playing field going into this. Rhodes Scholars won the tag team tournament and beat up the champions at the Go Home show, making them look strong. Hell No have had past victories and a lot of fan reception to make them on a big, gigantic strength thing, but they're also fraying at the seams. So if done right, this has the recipe for a match of epic proportions, and it could steal the show. So this is the thing, I'm just so excited, and usually, for a tag team matchup, I'm not really excited about it, but this time, I really give a shit about this match. I want to see it. Mostly because the result in question that I want. Because as far as a prediction goes, if Bryan's in line for a big push, then taking the titles off the most over tag team in years will allow for that to happen, and Kane can just go back to being a psychotic freak. But to be honest, that's how we know and love him, to be perfectly honest with you. Plus, Rhodes Scholars as tag champs would be awesome. Bringing in Matt Striker as a manager for them, knowing he's a former teacher and intellectual character whose smugness alone could generate a heat reaction, that would make it funner. However, on the flip side, people keep thinking Kane and Bryan should retain the titles because they're funny to watch. My opinion, what did they gain from regaining the tag belts? Breaking up in a Survivor Series 5-on-5 match at Survivor Series? I don't know. I don't know if that's the only thing they can do. But to me, that's the only thing they can do, because they're running out of funny, melodramatic, comedy cliche scenarios for them. They're running out of them. And I feel if they give them to new tag team champions who could hold the titles for a while, that will make them benefit a lot more. Because also, giving Sandow a championship has been overdue since the summer. Just pointing that out there. He should have been US champion or IC champion before then. In my opinion, no one else's. Next, Randy Orton versus Alberto Del Rio. Now, Del Rio's a guy who, of course, you know I support. I still do. But he just can't catch a break. He's obviously got what it takes in the ring, but however, he's been beaten in most matches and hasn't been built the best. This could be down to his mic work. I think we can all agree with that. And to have him go against Randy Orton would seem, to many IWC members and me, to be a death sentence for him. Because if Del Rio kind of loses this, then what does he gain from it? Where does he go from here? That's the thing. That's why he needs a win. But, well, the one thing I am hoping, if it's not a win, I just hope I get this from the match. That Del Rio's style of wrestling can make Randy Orton adapt and do something different in the ring. That probably will not happen, because Randy Orton does not... let me repeat that, does not change his style of wrestling for anyone. Seriously. Punk, Cena, Triple H, Dolph Ziggler, Chris Jericho, the lot. He does not, in the last 3 or 4 years, he has not changed his style of wrestling to suit any opponent, which is the reason why I have rated so many of his matches low and poor. Because... I know I rip on Cena for doing the same old shit, but at least he adapts to the scenario and plays off it. Del Rio is a ground-based, light heavyweight, high-flying submission wrestler. Orton doesn't even try and diversify to make the match flow better. Or, in fact, even sell and work something in the right way. And I really hope that being in the ring with a technician like that can make Orton realise he needs to adapt to make people give a shit about him. Because people only really care about him because he's got a name value to him. He doesn't have any other quality to me that would make anything of him stand out at the moment. I've said before, Del Rio needs the win, but I can feel Orton getting the win because it's obvious. And do you know why it's obvious? Because I've said already in these predictions that I've got 2 heel victories and a face victory. So I thought to myself, okay, WWE, if they're the right people, if they know what they're doing booking-wise, they will make it even out. So you've got an equal amount of face victories to an equal amount of heel victories. And I feel if you book a show right, you have a combination of that. You have a combination of that, just to kind of not... I mean, like Extreme Rules 2010, the faces won everything bar Michael Cole winning. So, yeah. That's, I don't want to repeat that again. I don't think anyone wants to repeat that again. So, it makes me think. You want to have an even playing field, so go on. Orton will probably win because WWE wants it, and I'm not too fussed with that. Even though I want Del Rio to win, I don't really care if Orton wins. Both of these guys don't mean too much to me in terms of positioning in the company right now, so why should I really take any real seriousness? I mean, if Punk ends up winning, then they need their second biggest face to obviously get something. Honestly, they need the second biggest face to win something, right? Otherwise, for some people, it just wouldn't be worth it. Next, we have Sheamus defending the World Heavyweight Championship against Big Show. Not inside Hell in a Cell, as many people thought. And in all fairness, I'm happy it's not inside Hell in a Cell, because it doesn't really have a place. Really, for me, despite those 2 heavyweights going against each other, it really doesn't seem it. Now, speaking of them being 2 heavyweights, I'm happy that Sheamus finally has legitimate competition and challenge to his reign, because there's no bigger threat to a champion as dominant as Sheamus when his opponent is stronger, larger, and can beat the shit out of just about anyone. And to be honest, Sheamus has beaten everybody in his path. However, most of them have been light heavyweights. Let me count. Since he won the title, who has he faced on pay-per-view in singles action? Daniel Bryan, Dolph Ziggler, Alberto Del Rio. All are light heavyweights. That's very easy to say. It's because they wanted to build Sheamus up as being a guy who can flatten somebody. Pretty simple. However, to see him face a super heavyweight is refreshing, because we haven't seen it since the moment he became champion. Really. I mean, it just makes it a lot easier if you can get a guy who's a heavyweight champion go against a guy in the weight class. It just makes it much more legitimate. Okay, while this isn't a heel Ryback like I imagined, it's still the closest thing, and I'm happy for it. For Big Show, this is very good, because since his heel turn, he's just been a walking battering ram, beating loads of random people. But apart from being beaten by John Cena and CM Punk, he's had no real direction. And even though he was in championship matches a lot for the last 2 years, I still find it nice that he's managed to get into the championship picture and face someone different besides Henry, Rhodes, Punk, Cena and Bryan. Because I want to see what Show can bring to the table against Sheamus. I really, really do. Because I've never seen it before. Usually I would say, okay, these guys faced on Raw, they then faced on Superstars, they faced on Heat, they faced on a pre-show. These guys have not actually faced before. And that gives a certain amount of intrigue. It really does, because I have no fucking idea what is going to happen. I really have no idea what is going to happen here, and I want to be able to sit here in my chair, watching the computer when I'm streaming it, and I want to say, Big Show and Sheamus, they work together with good chemistry in the ring. However, that is very unlikely because, think about it, there aren't too many people who Sheamus can work well with. I mean, Triple H is probably the only person that comes to mind. Usually, I would be confident in predicting a Sheamus win because it's what I've done since the moment he won the title. However, Show being in there does limit that possibility. Plus, with the prospect of Ziggler cashing in, it makes the end of this match very ambiguous, to say the least. Now, I will say one thing. Dolph Ziggler will not cash in. I don't want him to cash in at Hell in a Cell. Mr. McMahon may think, oh, if Ryback wins and Dolph Ziggler wins, then we can have a gigantic, big headline saying 2 stars were made tonight. This can be an important pay-per-view. Well, it would be important if people actually bought it. Now, of course, due to technological limitations, I'm not buying it because I haven't got the Sky Plus and Sky Sports needed to buy it, so I can't. But people who do have the ability to will buy Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, fuck it, even WrestleMania. And if you cash in at one of those events, people will know who the fuck you are. And that's the best thing. A Big 4 pay-per-view can make you or break you in 5 seconds, knowing what you can do. And honestly, if Dolph cashed in at WrestleMania, just imagine the enduring picture would be the first guy to ever cash in at WrestleMania and win, and he would be a star because everybody, casual fans, people who don't watch wrestling anymore but still come back to WrestleMania every year, they will be the guys looking at this man and saying, he is the shit. And if they want to do it on a B pay-per-view and ruin that opportunity for such a big magnitude moment, then that's up to them, but it's just my opinion. I don't want that to happen. If Ziggler cashes in a Big 4 pay-per-view, I'll be satisfied. I really will be. In regards to this match, I will go for Sheamus to win. However, he will lose the belt at Survivor Series to another test of his mantle. I don't know who would test him, though. Apart from if Ryback ends up losing and he goes up against Sheamus in a fit of rage, turning heel, to kind of find his place and just go after the world champion who hasn't beaten him yet, that would be fun. Not to mention, who else do I put in there? Brodus Clay? Cesaro without a championship? You know what I mean? There isn't many real heavyweights who can go against him. Well, bar the great Khali, and I don't even want to see that happen because that'll be shit. So, yeah, there needs to be another test to Sheamus for him to lose the championship. Because I don't want him to face Show again, because after we've seen with Del Rio and Bryan, what's the point of having the champion beat someone multiple times when it continuously makes the challenger look weak and he won't gain anything from it? It makes Sheamus look strong, but in the end, we don't always want to see that. We want to see the challenger look strong, and Big Show looks strong in any scenario, so why limit him by having him lose 2 or 3 pay-per-views in a row to Sheamus? Why not? Really, I'm just saying. It's just something that's popped in my mind, and I hope you guys see reason in that. So Sheamus for the win, just. Let me put that out there. Just. He will not win easily. Hands down. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, all you crazy motherfuckers out there, we have now reached the time for me to predict the main event, as Todd Grisham used to say. CM Punk defending the WWE Championship against Ryback inside Hell in a Cell. Now, I'll put this point out here. This match is the match which has more debate going into it from the WWE itself and the wider community than I have ever seen in my 10 years of watching. Because, okay, we've seen people worry about where a direction of a company would go putting a title on a guy at WrestleMania. We have seen people wondering if someone's ready to fight. But then again, you've had all those things when WWE has been in a position of technical security in regards to their product quality and the ratings along with it. At this moment in time, this match matters more than any in the last couple of pay-per-views. In fact, it matters nearly as much as CM Punk John Cena at Money in the Bank last year, because a lot is riding on this. A lot is riding on this. And to be honest, the IWC and the WWE seem to have common ground on what this match's effect will have, because this is a double-edged sword of a match, because they can look at it and see that if either one of them loses in some person's opinion, then it could have a detrimental effect, and the choice that WWE goes for is taking a plunge and a risk, and making sure that they do the right thing. Now, in all fairness, usually I would say, well, every time there's a big match, they've got to take a plunge, but does it really have as much implication? Do many matches have as much implication on fans giving a shit and WWE's business as this one? Because in the last 10 to something years, we really haven't had a match that is relying, and the WWE's business is relying on it. Because honestly, that's what makes this so important. The champion CM Punk will have been champion for 343 days come Sunday night, come tonight. He's beaten all in his path and established himself as the face of pure pro wrestling in many fans' eyes, as well as being the one thing that keeps many watching. Now, that seems pretty big, doesn't it? You can see why people were wanting to lose. And Ryback, the former Skip Sheffield, has seen a meteoric rise, going undefeated since April, defeating jobbers, undercarders and mid-carders alike, before being given a main event place based on his popularity and having Cena absent. Now, that all seems good. You've got an undeveloped star versus the longest reigning champion since... Cena and JBL spring to mind. Fuck it. Those guys. Cena and JBL, he's coming near that area. I think he's gone past... No, he hasn't gone past JBL. What the fuck am I... Yes, he has gone past. That was 280 days, not 300 something. So yeah, he's better. He's a bit longer than JBL, and he's coming up to John Cena reign territory against an upcomer who, to be honest, needs that massive big push to make him something. Now, WWE's dilemma is that this match is hard to predict enough. But these are the reasons why people are frustrated about how to predict this one. You see, if Ryback loses, he will lose that destructive aura of being undefeated around him, along with the momentum that goes along with it, because without him being undefeated, do you think people would give a shit? Do you think him going around destroying people would be the same if he was not undefeated? Just putting it out there, people, because Ryback would fall a little bit if that happens. But however, if Punk loses, it might create a new star in Ryback, but it makes Punk look weak and a lot of fans will revolt. And I can see it now. IWC fans ranting on the match saying WWE made the wrong decision. But what I find even more shocking is the IWC are, for the most part, a bunch of hypocrites. You know why they're a bunch of hypocrites? It's because they go on, day in, day out, pay-per-view after pay-per-view, saying, "Oh God, why can't we put someone else but Cena in the main event?" They've done it. They've put someone else in the main event, but you people think you're all high and mighty and don't think he's worthy. Seriously. Honestly, are you people ever satisfied? Are you ever satisfied about anything? This is why Vince McMahon doesn't care about you, and us in particular. He doesn't care because we complain about everything even though we get it. It does my head in, it really does. Because you're getting something you asked for. Don't be a spoiled brat and say, "Oh, it's not the right specification of what I want, you stupid fuck." Never mind. What makes this even more ridiculous than the IWC being hypocrites is there are camps in the IWC saying that Ryback should win and that Punk should win. And to be honest, I thought that was enough. But there's something even more ridiculous. That Triple H and Vince McMahon are at odds as to who should win. Now, could this be the first proper power struggle that we have? Because Triple H wants Punk to win. Vince McMahon wants Ryback to win. Pretty obvious. Triple H and many in the back believe that Punk losing would be a slap into the face for all the hard work he's put in, and him losing would be bad for business. And, well, and he even mentions, it's not that they don't like Ryback, they just don't think it's going to be good for business at all. Because Ryback is actually being supported in the back. People are liking the fact he's getting a push, and I'm one of them. And, honestly, Vince McMahon, however, his opinion is this. He believes the pay-per-view ending on a shock will be boosting business in the short term and build intrigue around a new star. Now, I'm fully behind Ryback in this. I'm happy to see some new blood in the main event scene, but I agree with Triple H. Not just as a gigantic punk mark that you know I am, but a smart thinker. You see, Punk losing has more of a detrimental effect than Ryback losing. Now hear me out on this, because what do casual fans like about wrestling? They like familiar faces, okay? CM Punk is a very familiar face. People, to be honest, after what happened last July, people who are casual fans who used to watch wrestling but at least don't watch it too much anymore like CM Punk, and they will watch him. They will watch his matches. And Ryback, the fact is, he may have been in WWE since Tough Enough and has now proven himself, after nearly a decade, to be in a position to fight for something like this. Because he's worked his way up and proven himself as a wrestling fan and a wrestler in general. But people have been turning off the screen and switching channel when he's been on screen. This past Monday is a blunt example. Raw lost viewers whenever Ryback was mentioned and or focused on. Now, I don't know if that's because of the debate or Monday Night Football. If it happens when he wins the championship, just imagine how detrimental to business that will be. That Punk losing could be the death knell for WWE's sinking ratings. That could be the be-all or end-all. Because I bet IWC guys are thinking, if Punk loses, I'm not watching WWE again. Seriously, I've heard more people say they're never going to watch wrestling again, or WWE again at least, if something happens at the weekend. If things just keep going down the way they are. And that's very sad to hear. But it's just really frustrating. I would agree with them. Punk needs to win here to make this situation be fully resolved for the best. Because Ryback, he can come back from a loss easily. Because he can just flatten more people and people will still be behind him. Punk, because he's completely different in size and stature, he would not have an easy time doing that. Because he's a heel. A heel losing would mean he turns into a whiny, snivelling bitch. And although Punk is fantastic at pulling that character off, it wouldn't be good. And then he'd have to go through Cena, and he will be made to look even more weaker than he would be out after this match. So, putting those factors together, that sums up that, yeah, Punk should win. Because it benefits the business far more than Ryback. Really. And I have heard the rumours that John Cena is now fully medically cleared to compete, which makes it even more ridiculous, because what's going to happen now? Is Ryback going to be attacked by somebody? Is Cena going to be special guest ref and do something? Is he going to be attacked and then Ryback avenges Cena by winning the title or something? I don't know. Will AJ factor in somehow? Will Brock Lesnar interfere, like many have been predicting? Will Vince McMahon get involved? Because in all fairness, that would make a lot of sense. You know what I mean. There are so many different ways this could go in terms of, building up anticipation or overbooking it. I don't really care about all that. It should be entertaining as fuck, because the crowd should be hot as hell for this. Hopefully, because there's more hype going into this one than in any match I've seen for quite some time. And I will say one last thing though. I just hope that Mr. McMahon's douchebag yes men, as Punk called them back in June last year, don't suck his cock one last time and end up having McMahon make the wrong decision, because he may be the creative be-all or end-all, but maybe this is the one time he should listen to other people for once. I go on about it all the time. I say that Vince McMahon hasn't got a clue because he's not letting other people make creative decisions. They all have to filter down to him. And I don't want a person who's been making really bad decisions over the last 2 or 3 years, especially in the last couple of months, to make a decision that could send his company spiraling downward to an abyss which it may not recover from. And that's really, really worrying. Because normally I would say this with a bit of hope, with a bit of happiness in knowing that that won't happen. But you know what? Raw reached a 2.4 rating this past week. Its worst rating in 15 years. And you can imagine, Ryback winning could lead to something worse. Would you want to see Raw going into SmackDown rating territory in a 1.9? Would you? Seriously, folks. It's something that really is worrying me. Because me, being a lifelong WWE fan, seeing, for the first time in my watching, them on the verge of falling into that abyss. And I'm actually seeing it visually. I'm really looking at it that way. Normally I'm not that abysmal, but this is why I'm looking forward to this pay-per-view, because I feel they will make the right decisions. And I'm hoping they do, because that'll make me as an analyst very pissed if they do make the wrong ones. Because then if it does go downhill, and WWE is stuck inside hell after going through the cell, then they will only be able to blame themselves. They'll only be able to blame McMahon, and he will only be able to blame himself for making the wrong decision. Because seriously, why would you want to trust booking with a nearly 70-year-old man? Why would you want to trust booking with a guy who has obviously shown issues in the last couple of years? Especially in a decision with this magnitude to it. Because if WWE does go under because of him listening to douchebag yes men and not listening to other people, especially not listening to the guy who will be running the company after you either die or retire. This is the thing. Listen to Triple H. Listen to everyone in your company, because you employed them for a reason, to help you make your machine go. And if you don't listen to them, you could be making the worst mistake of your goddamn life. So Vince, when the dust settles around Hell in a Cell, when I finish watching and I finish writing up my review, I don't want to see myself almost panicking, worrying and wondering what the hell is going to happen on Raw. I don't want that. I really don't, because if you guys will end up seeing a review of me panicking and really worried, then that's going to put a lot of problems in. Because honestly, if I'm worried about WWE's future, I usually am not, but if I am, like I am in this case, then they need to really make the decision that matters. I'm hoping they will do it, for the sake of my fandom and many others, and for the sake of all our sanity. Vince, make the right decision. Have CM Punk win. It doesn't have to be the cleanest thing in the world. As long as he wins, this company, Raw, and everything else won't implode. Sure, Ryback won't be made a new star, but he can do that any time. He can win #1 contendership for a TLC title match. He could win the Royal Rumble. He could win Money in the Bank further down the line. He has time to be built back up. But if any other direction goes, there's nothing. There is nothing. I would rather go to Raw with a familiar face as champion than an abyss of nothing and unpredictability with Ryback at the helm. And I'm a supporter of Ryback, so that fully shows how much worry I really have in the result of this. So I'm going to say it one more time, and I'll end this video. Make the right decision, Vince. Make the right decision. Make the right decision. And guys, I'm going to end it there. If you've enjoyed this predictions video and you want to see my review tomorrow afternoon, please note, afternoon. I'm not doing it straight afterwards because I've got to present a design and realization digital media project presentation tomorrow. So I'm going to need some time to do that. So please note, I'm not doing the review really late, but you'll still get it. Hands down, you're still going to get it. And if you want to see it, click the subscribe button up there. Huzzah! Also, guys, I know I've got a personal Q&A and I've got a wrestling Q&A coming up in December, but I'd like to announce this little nugget, if I may. I'm going to be doing a live stream in November, late November, because I can. And don't worry, those questions you guys have already posted in will be answered in December. I'm just putting them on hold for now, because I'm going to be doing a live stream in late November, date to be confirmed, and you can all go along to it. And, yeah, you can just chat with me, talk about all kinds of shit, ask me random questions to answer, do anything, because that's what it's there for. Live stream, late November, I'll have a date in the review tomorrow, and it all should be fine. I've been Cream Crazy, you've been people listening, this has been my Hell in a Cell 2012 predictions, and I hope this pay-per-view turns out for the best, because at this moment, I really don't care if the pay-per-view is shit or not. I just hope the result of the main event turns out the way I foresee it to. Because if it doesn't, you could be looking, in attitude sense, a different person when you hear the review tomorrow afternoon. Guys, see you then. Hope you have a fantastic weekend. Hope you've already enjoyed the fantastic football and F1 and all the great stuff. I just hope, that we come out of Hell in a Cell not burnt and charred to a crisp. See you guys. Cheers.